Have you ever noticed that some authors seem to dominate an entire niche while others publish book after book and barely make any sales? Well, as someone who has made over six figures selling books on Amazon KDP, one of the biggest mistakes I made early on was jumping from niche to niche instead of building authority on one specific area and expanding from there. Once I stopped chasing random ideas and started building multiple books around the same audience, that's when everything became easier. My book started selling better, and readers began discovering my other titles, and I was finally creating momentum instead of starting from scratch every time. So, before we get into that, I want you to think about where you are in your publishing journey. Have you already started publishing books? Are you writing in multiple niches? And are some books performing while others aren't? Because if that's the case, pay attention to the data. Do less of what's not working and more of what's already showing signs of success. Now, if you're brand new to self publishing and you haven't written your first book yet, ask yourself a different question. Do you already have a business? Do you specialize in something? Do you have knowledge, skills, or experience that other people would find valuable? If so, that's where I would start. Before writing anything, do your research. You want to understand whether people are actively searching for information related to your topic and whether there's room for you to compete. One of my favorite tools for this is Publisher Rocket. It helps you research keywords, estimate demand, and understand competition before you spend weeks or months creating a book. Because the truth is this, when you're a brand new author with no audience, you need a way to get discovered. Unless you have deep pockets and plan on spending a lot on advertising, keyword research can help you avoid creating books that nobody is searching for. And if you already have a business, books can become a very powerful extension to that business. I've seen clients use a simple $15 book as the first step in a customer journey that actually leads them to coaching clients, consulting projects, courses, and other high ticket services. The book becomes the introduction, and the relationship starts there. Looking back, that's where I made another mistake. I didn't have a business when I got started. I simply saw people making money with Amazon KDP and wanted to give it a shot. So I jumped around. I created a book about the 90s because I thought it sounded fun, and honestly, it was a fun project. The problem is people weren't actively searching for books about the 90s. I skipped the research and assumed people would buy it because I thought it was interesting. Then I moved into the parenting niche. And there was definitely demand there, but there was also a tremendous amount of competition. The book generated some sales, but it never became a significant source of income. Now, could it have been successful? Absolutely. If I wanted to build a parenting brand, create parenting content, launch parenting courses, and become known in that space, it definitely could have worked. But the reality was that I didn't want to be a parenting influencer. That topic didn't excite me enough to build an entire business around it. And that's an important lesson. Books work best when they support something that you're already passionate about building. So, whether that's a business, a personal brand, a content platform, or an area of expertise, you'll often hear marketers talk about the three biggest markets, and that's health, wealth, and relationships. So, for me, relationships ended up being the sweet spot. Once I started publishing multiple books around relationship topics, I saw much better results. And that's why I always encourage people to think in themes. So let's say you write a book called How to Start Dating for Men. Instead of moving into a completely unrelated topic, you might choose to write How to Overcome Dating Anxiety for Men. Then maybe How to Build Emotional Intimacy for Men. Do you see the pattern here? So you're serving the same audience while solving different problems they may experience along their journey, and that creates crossover because someone who buys one of your books becomes a potential buyer of a future book. You're not starting from zero every time, you're building an ecosystem. And there's another benefit that most new authors overlook, and it's book bundling. So if you have two books that complement each other, you can combine them for a larger bundle and create an entirely new product. You can give it a new title, a new cover, a new positioning angle, and suddenly you just created a third book without writing brand new content. And it's one of my favorite publishing strategies because it allows you to get more value from the work that you've already created. And this is something that I talk a lot about inside of my publishing community. I always encourage members to think long term and build around themes rather than chasing completely new ideas. For example, I have a member who's in my community that is a speech therapist whose goal is helping families with speech delayed children. And instead of writing just one book, she could create an entire series. One book might be called Is My Toddler Behind on Speech? Helping parents understand developmental milestones and determine whether they should seek professional help. Another could be 50 daily activities to boost your child's speech, providing practical exercises parents can do at home. A third might focus on communication strategies for autistic children and helping parents navigate more complex language development challenges. So, notice how all of these books support the same audience because they're connected, they're solving related problems. And naturally, they position her as an authority in that space. And that's exactly what you would want to think about when planning your publishing journey. So don't just think about one book, think about 5 books, think about 10 books, think about how those books could work together to serve the same audience. And if your goal is to educate people, teach a skill, or build a community around your expertise, I also encourage you to create a home base where your audience can continue learning from you. For me, that has been school. I started my community in 2024 and it has grown to over 1,000 members. What I love is the fact that it is simple. You can have a free community, paid memberships, classrooms, live events, calendars, discussions, email communication, all in one place without needing any complicated tech stack. And if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave my referral link below so you can go check it out for yourself. And if you're thinking about getting started with Amazon KDP, remember this, don't just publish books. Build a strategy around your audience, build around a theme, and most importantly, build something that you're excited to continue growing for years to come. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful today, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that way you don't miss future videos about self-publishing, book marketing, and building income streams through your books. I'll see you in the next video.